The Discovery. The galactic archives held no mention of humanity beyond sparse, contradictory legends. For 500,000 years, Earth had been nothing but a footnote in cosmic history, a forgotten blue marble orbiting an unremarkable yellow star in the unfashionable western spiral arm of the Milky Way. Commander Zervex of the Arcadian science vessel Celestial Seeker had not planned to investigate Earth at all. The planet wasn't even their primary mission objective. Their expedition was meant to catalog unusual stellar phenomena in this sector, and Earth's sun was merely one of 17 stars on their survey list. Approaching the Sol system, Commander, reported Navigation Officer Thel. Standard orbital insertion projected in 15 minutes. Zervex's translucent membrane shifted colors, indicating mild interest. Any peculiarities worth noting? Science Officer Lirma's 4 eyes blinked in sequence as she reviewed the data streaming across her console. Nothing unusual in the star's output. Third planet shows ruins of a former civilization, consistent with historical records of humanity's self-extinction. Another dead world, sighed Zervex. After 20 years exploring the galaxy's forgotten corners, dead worlds have become depressingly common. Maintain standard protocols. We'll document and move on. The Celestial Seeker slipped into orbit around Earth, its sensors methodically scanning the surface. For hours, the data showed exactly what they expected. The crumbling remains of cities reclaimed by nature, oceans slightly acidic from ancient pollution, and radiation signatures from long-ago wars. But as the ship passed over what had once been the northern hemisphere, Lirma suddenly stiffened. Commander, I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature. Faint but structured. Zervex moved to her station. Natural phenomenon. Negative. Lirma's voice contained a note of excitement. It's artificial, and it's active. The bridge fell silent. Active technology on a dead world was more than unusual. It was impossible. No power source should function after 500,000 years. Pinpoint the source, ordered Zervex. It's diffuse. Lirma's appendages danced across her console. The signal appears to emanate from multiple locations, concentrated in what appears to be an ancient mountain range. Zervex considered the implications. The Arcadian Science Council valued caution above all, but discoveries of this magnitude were precisely why they explored. Prepare a surface expedition. Full containment protocols. Within an hour, a shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Zervex led the team personally, along with Lirma and Security Chief Kor Drav, whose species' natural armor made him ideal for potentially hazardous explorations. They landed beside the ruins of what had once been a military installation, now nothing but vine-covered concrete and rusted metal. Scanners led them to a seamless metal door set into the mountainside, untouched by the centuries. The energy signature is strongest here, said Lirma, her voice muffled by her environmental suit. And look at this door. No corrosion, no degradation. Kor Drav ran his scanner over the metal. Unknown alloy. Remarkable preservation. Zervex approached the door, studying the faded symbols etched into its surface. Can we translate this? Lirma consulted her device. It appears to be a warning in ancient human language. Something about authorized personnel only. How do we open it? Asked Zervex. As if in response to the question, the ground beneath them trembled slightly. A faint hum emanated from behind the door, growing steadily louder. Then, with a hydraulic hiss that should have been impossible after countless millennia, the massive door slid open. By the first stars, whispered Kor Drav. Beyond the threshold lay a vast underground complex, illuminated by lights automatically activating as the door opened. The facility stretched for kilometers into the mountain, its architecture utilitarian and distinctly military. This shouldn't be possible, said Lirma, checking her readings. These systems are functioning as if they were maintained yesterday. Zervex led them inside, fascination overriding caution. The corridors were designed for human proportions, but easily accommodated the alien explorers. They passed rooms filled with what appeared to be scientific equipment, living quarters, and command centers, all preserved in a state of suspended animation. It's as if they simply left, observed Kordrav. But where did they go? Asked Lerma. And why leave all this intact? They followed the strengthening energy signature deeper into the facility. The corridors widened, the ceiling heights increased, and the architecture grew more imposing. Finally, they reached a massive set of doors labeled Fleet Command. When these doors opened, the aliens froze in collective astonishment. Before them stretched an underground hangar of impossible scale, a cavern so vast it seemed to defy the mountain's dimensions, and within it, suspended in individual berths, hung warships. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. Each vessel was sleek, predatory, and unmistakably built for combat. Their hulls gleamed with the same ageless material as the entrance door. Some were relatively small, perhaps crew transports or fighters. Others were colossal, dwarfing even the largest known Galactic Council dreadnoughts. Impossible, breathed Lerma. The energy required to construct this facility alone would drain a small star. And to preserve it for 500,000 years, added Kordrav. Zervex moved toward a central platform overlooking the fleet. The historical records claim humans never developed significant interstellar capabilities, that they destroyed themselves fighting over their single world. The historical records, said Kordrav grimly, are evidently wrong. As they approached the central platform, lights activated around them, and holographic interfaces sprang to life. The alien script flowing across these displays was unintelligible, but the intent was clear. This was a command center for the sleeping armada. Lerma studied the nearest interface. Commander, these ships. They're fully functional. Power signatures indicate they're in some kind of standby mode. Standby for what? Asked Zervex. Their creators have been gone for eons. Something changed in the air, a subtle shift in pressure, a faint electrical charge. The holographic displays flickered, then stabilized with new patterns. Something's happening, warned Kordrav, drawing his defensive weapon. Throughout the vast hangar, indicators on the warships began to illuminate. A low hum reverberated through the cavern, building in intensity until it vibrated through the explorers' bodies. We need to leave, said Zervex urgently. Now. But before they could move, a new hologram materialized on the central platform. A human figure, male, dressed in what appeared to be a military uniform. Though merely light in color, the hologram possessed an unsettling presence. Its eyes seemed to focus directly on the alien visitors. Then it spoke, its voice translated by their devices. Failsafe Protocol Epsilon activated. Unknown entities detected in Fleet Command. Security assessment in progress. The hologram paused, as if studying them. Species identification. Non-human, non-sol origin. Threat assessment pending. Zervex stepped forward cautiously. We are peaceful explorers from the Arcadian Science Council. We mean no harm. The hologram's expression remained impassive. Purpose of intrusion. Exploration and research, replied Zervex. We discovered your facility by accident. Another pause. Then, chronological analysis complete. Current temporal displacement from baseline. 497,326 standard years. The aliens exchanged looks of astonishment. The system knew exactly how much time had passed. Activating Contingency Protocol Omega, announced the hologram. Full fleet awakening sequence initiated. Throughout the hangar, the warship's illumination intensified. Mechanical systems engaged with precise synchronicity, creating a symphony of power and purpose. Wait, called Zervex desperately. What is happening? Who are you? The hologram regarded them with cool detachment. I am Admiral Thomas Chen, United Earth Defense Force, or rather, a digital approximation thereof. And these ships? Asked Lerma. What is their purpose? Survival, replied the hologram simply. Humanity's final contingency. Around them, the first of the massive warships began to rise from its berth, suspended by some invisible force. Others followed, an armada awakening from 500,000 years of patient slumber. The hologram of Admiral Chen looked at them with what might have been sadness. "You have awakened what was meant to sleep until needed. Now the protocol must be followed." "What protocol?" demanded Zervex. "The reclamation," said the hologram. "Earth was never abandoned. Humanity never expired. We merely waited." As the ships continued their awakening sequence, the aliens stood transfixed, witnessing the resurrection of a power the galaxy had long forgotten, or perhaps never truly known. Awakening and revelation. The celestial seeker detected the seismic disturbances first. From orbit, Chief Engineer Ventor watched in horror as massive sections of Earth's surface began to shift and separate. "Commander," he called over the emergency channel. "Something is happening planet-side." But Zervex couldn't respond. The exploration team stood frozen in fleet command as mountains, entire mountain ranges, began to split open around the planet, revealing more vast hangars identical to the one they had discovered. "This is impossible," whispered Lirma, her scientific mind struggling to process the scale of what they were witnessing. "The engineering required, the power source." The holographic Admiral Chen observed their reactions with clinical interest. "Your confusion is understandable. Few civilizations achieve the technological threshold necessary for such projects." Kordrav, ever practical, kept his weapon trained on the hologram, despite knowing it would be useless against light. "What exactly are we witnessing?" "The awakening of the Sentinel fleet," replied Chen. "Humanity's insurance policy against extinction." Above them, more warships rose from their berths, moving with impossible grace for vessels of their size. Through the facility's monitoring systems, they could see similar scenes playing out in hangars across the planet. Not thousands of ships, millions. "Why?" demanded Zervex. "Why create all this and then disappear for 500,000 years?" The hologram's expression shifted subtly. "Disappear? No, Commander Zervex. Humanity did not disappear. We evolved." A new holographic display materialized, showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Countless points of light appeared, spreading outward from Earth in a complex network. 500,000 years ago, humanity faced a choice, continued Chen. Our technological development had reached a critical juncture. We could continue as we were, biological entities bound to planets and ships, or we could transcend. "Transcend," echoed Lirma. "We merged with our technology," said Chen simply. "Consciousness untethered from biological constraints. We became something different." The implications stunned the aliens. "You're saying humans still exist?" asked Zervex. "In a manner of speaking. We exist as data, as energy, as consciousness distributed throughout networks spanning the galaxy. We abandoned our physical forms but preserved our essence." Kordrav gestured at the rising warships. "Then why maintain all this military might?" "Because evolution creates vulnerability," replied Chen. "In becoming what we are now, we gained immeasurable freedom and knowledge, but lost certain capacities. The ability to directly interact with the physical world, for instance." The hologram pointed to the fleet. "These ships are our anchors to physical reality. Our means of protection should it ever become necessary." "Protection from what?" asked Zervex. Chen's hologram regarded them silently for a moment. "There are threats in this galaxy older than any of our civilizations, Commander. Things that sleep in the spaces between stars. Things that wake periodically to feed. Humanity encountered one such entity during our early interstellar expansion." The holographic display shifted to show a massive, amorphous shape that seemed to bend light around it unnaturally. "We barely survived our first encounter. We realized then that traditional physical defenses would be insufficient against such entities, so we chose two paths simultaneously: transcendence into non-physical existence and the creation of the most powerful autonomous defense fleet ever conceived. Lerma studied the ships with new appreciation. These vessels, they're automated. More than automated, corrected Chen. They're extensions of us. Dormant until needed, but capable of housing portions of our consciousness when required. Outside, the ground continued to shake as more ships rose into Earth's atmosphere. The Celestial Seeker reported that similar activity was occurring on Mars, Venus, and even some of Jupiter's moons, all planets historically dismissed as failed human colonies or research outposts. "And now you've awakened them all," said Zervex, understanding dawning. "Because of us. Your arrival triggered failsafe protocol Epsilon," confirmed Shen. "The system detected unknown entities accessing a primary facility and initiated defensive measures." "We meant no harm," insisted Zervex. "I believe you," said Chen, surprising them. "But the protocol must complete its cycle. The fleet must verify no threat exists before returning to dormancy." "And if it determines we are a threat?" asked Kordrav. Chen's hologram didn't answer directly. "Your civilization, the Arcadian Science Council, and the broader galactic confederacy it belongs to, is not currently registered as hostile in our databases. However, 500 millennia have passed. Assessment is required." Abruptly, all the displays in Fleet Command shifted, showing new data streaming at incomprehensible speeds. The hologram of Admiral Chen became momentarily static, then reformed with subtle differences, a sharper focus, more defined features, more fluid movements. "Direct neural interface established," announced the hologram, its voice now richer and more nuanced. "Full consciousness transfer complete." Zervex realized with a chill that they were no longer speaking to a programmed interface, but to an actual human consciousness that had downloaded itself into the facility. "Commander Zervex," said the newly animated Chen, "I apologize for the dramatic circumstances of our meeting. Had your civilization discovered any of our monitoring outposts rather than stumbling directly upon Earth, first contact would have been more diplomatic." "You've been watching us?" asked Lerma. "We've been watching everything," corrected Chen. "For 500,000 years, humanity has observed the rise and fall of countless civilizations throughout the galaxy. We've witnessed wars and peace, technological revolutions, and catastrophic collapses. Why not reveal yourselves?" asked Zervex. "Non-interference has generally proven the wisest policy," said Chen. "Most civilizations aren't ready to comprehend our existence. The knowledge that a species could transcend physical form has destabilizing effects. Above them, the first wave of warships had fully activated, hovering silently over their berths. Through the monitoring systems, they could see hundreds of thousands of vessels now floating above Earth's surface, their hulls reflecting the sun with an almost ethereal quality." "What happens now?" asked Zervex. "That depends partially on you," replied Chen. "The Arcadian Science Council has a reputation for wisdom and restraint. If you recommend non-intervention, it will weigh favorably in our assessment. And if not," Chen's expression grew solemn, "then humanity would be forced to reconsider its policy of passive observation." The implications hung in the air. The fleet they had awakened could easily overwhelm any known military force in the galaxy, and if these ships were merely physical anchors for a post-human consciousness that spanned the stars. "What do you want from us?" asked Zervex finally. "Understanding," said Chen simply. "And discretion. The galaxy isn't ready to know the full truth of humanity's evolution. Not yet." "You expect us to keep this secret?" asked Kordrav incredulously. "The awakening of your fleet will be detected by multiple civilizations. The fleet will return to dormancy once our assessment is complete," replied Chen. "As for what you report, that is your choice. But consider this, sometimes knowledge itself can be dangerous." Lerma, who had been quietly analyzing the data scrolling across the displays, suddenly looked up. "These ships, the technology, it's beyond anything in our theoretical models." "Yes," confirmed Chen. What you're seeing represents technology approximately 300,000 years more advanced than current galactic standards. Technology we chose not to share because the galaxy wasn't ready. "And now?" asked Zervex. Chen smiled, a surprisingly human expression on the increasingly lifelike hologram. "Now we face a choice together. Humanity has been content to watch and wait, to guide subtly when necessary. But perhaps the time for more direct interaction is approaching." The hologram gestured, and a new display appeared, a timeline showing the rise and fall of galactic civilizations, with a disturbing pattern emerging in recent millennia. "The cycles are accelerating," explained Chen. "The threats we created this fleet to counter are growing more active. In the past 50,000 years, 3 civilizations have been completely consumed, erased so thoroughly that your histories don't even record their existence." The aliens stared at the display, seeing gaps in the timeline where entire species had apparently vanished without trace. "We believe a major awakening cycle is imminent," continued Chen. "Within the next century, perhaps sooner. When it comes, the galaxy will need defenders." Understanding dawned on Zervex. "You're recruiting us." "Inviting you," corrected Chen. "To be part of something greater. Humanity chose to transcend physical form, but that path isn't right for everyone. There are many ways to evolve, to contribute." Outside, the warships had formed a perfect geometric formation above Earth, a display of precision and coordination that left no doubt about their capabilities. "Return to your council," said Chen. "Tell them what you've seen, or as much as you believe they can accept. When you're ready for the next step, you'll find us waiting." "How?" asked Lerma. Chen smiled again. "We're everywhere, science officer. In the background radiation of the universe. In the quantum fluctuations your most advanced instruments detect, but cannot explain. In the dreams that inspire your greatest thinkers." The hologram began to fade. "The fleet will stand down. Your ship will be permitted to depart unmolested. What happens next depends on what you choose to do with what you've learned today." As they prepared to leave Fleet Command, Zervex turned back one last time. "Admiral Chen, or whatever you truly are, why show us all this? Why trust us with this knowledge?" The fading hologram's final words echoed through the facility. "Because 500,000 years ago, humanity learned that survival depends not on strength alone, but on cooperation. We transcended our physical forms, but never abandoned our hope that when the darkness comes, and it is coming, we would not face it alone." Days later, as the celestial seeker prepared to jump to faster-than-light travel, the crew gathered on the observation deck for one final look at Earth. The planet appeared exactly as it had when they arrived, a seemingly abandoned world bearing the ancient scars of an extinct civilization. No evidence remained of the vast fleet they had witnessed. The mountains had resealed themselves. The energy signatures had vanished. To any casual observer, Earth was exactly what the historical records claimed, the abandoned cradle of a failed species. But Zervex and the exploration team knew better. Beneath that peaceful surface slumbered the most powerful armada the galaxy had ever known. And throughout the cosmos, watching from dimensions beyond physical perception, waited the evolved consciousness of humanity. "Set course for Arcadia," ordered Zervex. "Priority 1 clearance." As the ship accelerated away from Earth, Lerma joined the commander at the viewport. "What will you tell the council?" Zervex considered the question carefully. "The truth, that humanity never disappeared. They merely ascended, leaving guardians behind. And that very soon, the galaxy may need those guardians more than we can possibly imagine." Behind them, Earth receded into the distance, a small blue marble harboring secrets 500,000 years in the making, waiting for the moment when humanity's unstoppable war fleet would rise again.